Okay, so this video is about how to make a list. And if you ask any company, any business, they will tell you that their most valuable asset is their list, right? I mean, that is what people try to develop in any business because those are the people that communicate with a business, ultimately do business with a business. That's normal. And people spend a lot of money to buy lists, accumulate lists, and everybody who gets started has access to an awesome list. And so I'm going to give you in this video the principles for creating the best list possible because your list it's huge. It's absolutely a huge thing for you. And I'll tell you a little story to give you some insight. I've been in this business for a long time. And so when I first got started back in 1989, someone said, make a list. I had 38 people on my list and my dog, basically. That's all I could think about. That's all, because I thought your list was the people you really knew well, right? And so then, after I went through those 38, I basically spent money on advertising. I did all kinds of things to go out and find prospects. I mean, I did so many different things that all worked, but they cost a lot of money and they're highly inefficient, especially for someone just getting started without skills, and especially back then. And then I went to a meeting, a training with a highly successful entrepreneur about 8 months later. And in that training, this man talked about how to make a list. And it was as if it was a eureka moment for me because I realized, oh my gosh, there's a lot of people that know who I am, or I know who they are. Now, they don't know who I am because I'm in a great shake. I'm the opposite of a great shake, especially back then. I didn't have any credibility, and so what I did was then I took these principles and I made a list of 1,000 people, and then I sequentially went through the list. And from that, it launched my career. And that's as simple as that. And so I'm going to teach you how to make a proper list because I wanted to make 6 figures in the next few years, and then I made all kinds of mistakes. That's a whole nother story. But bottom line is the list propelled my success. And so here's some mindset principles for creating your list. Number one is that you got to make people aware, right? If you opened a coffee shop and you didn't let anybody know, you didn't put a sign up, you didn't put a shingle up, it would be pretty soon you'd be out of business, right? There are no secret agent coffee shops. You have to let people know. You tell everybody you know that you have a coffee shop. And the same is going to be true here. You have to let people know that you have an opportunity or you have products because people have needs and they don't wake up in the morning and go, geez, I wonder if Fred actually has a product who could help me. They don't think that way, right? You have to let them know that you have something. So if you just look at this as awareness, right? You don't get emotionally invested in any one person because no single person is going to make or break your business anyway, except you. You are the person who will make or break your business. And success in this business is it's inevitable if you follow the process and don't quit. It's inevitable, especially with what we have. So you're going to be making people aware. Next thing to know is that a percentage of the people that you put on this list are going to use your products, right? A percentage of the people are going to become Life Plus customers through you, and a percentage of the people are going to get involved in the opportunity through you. So if it's a percentage, and I don't know what that percentage is, but let's say it's 10%. Well, 10% of 50 is 5. 10% of 1,000 is 100. 10% of 2,000 is 200. Get it? Right? So it's not about nothing in our business is about how good you are. Nothing. Right? You will get better, but it's simple to do. It's being nice, being honest, being open, sharing information, and you're just a messenger. Someone can go, oh yeah, I like this or I don't like this, and that's fine. So a percentage of your list is going to get involved. Next is you're doing people a favor. You're giving people access to these products. That's one of the nicest things you could ever do for any human being you ever came across. That is the truth, right? And from an opportunity perspective, giving people access and knowledge about this opportunity, as fair and honest and good as this is, It's one of the nicest things you could do. You're doing people a favor. Whether they choose to do it or not, it's not on you, right? So your mindset when you're making your list is you'll be doing all these people a favor. Next is you prejudge no one. You have no idea if they're going to be interested or not. It's not for you to say or think, right? There's some people you're going to automatically go, oh, I don't want to talk to him. He already does too well at this or that. You have no idea. Just no idea. Take it from me. Take it from a guy who has everything I teach to you, I learned by doing. All of it. Okay? So when I share something with you, I'm shortcutting your success for you. I'm helping you minimize your mistakes. And you don't want to prejudge someone because I promise you, if you don't share your opportunity with them, someone else is going to share an opportunity with them. Everybody you know, everybody that could be on your list is on somebody else's list. Right? And in today's world, when people are actively looking for a way to do business from home or looking for good products to help themselves, if you don't talk to them, somebody else will, right? Why would you do that? Because you don't want to get that phone call. I can promise you, I've gotten it many times in my career. That phone call of the person that I judged and didn't contact, and then they called me back. Like, not called me back, they called me months later with an opportunity. Right? Because I judged them and someone else didn't, right? So no prejudging under any circumstances. And then don't worry about what you're going to say, right? So no need to worry about that. We give you all that, and it's very simple, especially to get started. So remember, you're just the messenger. That's what you are. You're the messenger. And the more, you're going to operate under human nature. You're going to talk to 10 to get 2. That's the way it works. But it's pretty simple to do our process because of our great tools, etc. So I'm going to give you exactly how to make a list, because the bigger you make it, the more success you'll have, the faster, and the faster you'll get good, right? When you have a list of names, you can just go boom, 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 making the contacts and sharing information and telling your story. Suddenly, you get good fast. You're good fast, you have fun, you have energy, people can feel you, and you have results faster, right? I mean, as opposed to a person who's doesn't make their list, and then they got to run around and try to figure out who to talk to, right? And that's a highly inefficient when they have access to. Heck, I had over 1,000 on my list back in 1989 at the age of 28, having been basically an abject failure my whole life, right? So imagine the kind of list you could put together following what I'm going to teach you right now. So here's the principles for making your list. Your list is going to look like an archery target, okay? That's how it's going to look. This is the way it's going to break down. So this little bullseye area for your list is the bullseye, right? Some people call it the black hole, right? What it is it's the people closest to you, right? It is the people closest to you, your closest friends and family. And I highly suggest you go to these people unless you have business credibility or you've been successful already. I highly suggest that you go to these closer people with the product. That's what I suggest. Product's not subjective. It makes it easy. And of course, we have great training and great tools. And we have the best products you could ever offer to someone. Life-changing, heavy solution products. Phenomenal products. So that's the black hole. It's probably, it depends on the size of your family, really. For some people, that list is that piece of their list is big. For some people, that list is 100 or 200, right? For most people, that list is going to be in the neighborhood of 50, right? It wasn't even that big for me because I had a really small family. Maybe it was 30 for me, but actually it was probably 38. And so 50 will be about that, right? Okay. So, and that's going to be some of your greatest training ground there is, right? Because they're going to ask you tough questions, and they're going to make you uncomfortable. And I mean, they are the greatest training ground there is, and you just have to approach them from the mentality of, hey, I don't care if you do it or not. I think this stuff is great. You might want to check it out, because they don't expect you to be an expert. They don't expect you to be skilled. They don't expect anything, right? And so they're the easiest group to go to, but they're the hardest group on you, okay? But it's a great training ground. Great training ground, and you just go through it, and you will get a lot of customers out of that group. A lot. Everybody does. Okay, so then you have this area right here. The first real ring around the bullseye. So these are people that you know and that you are friendly with. Right? So there are lots of these. These are people like that go to your church or in organizations that you belong in, or at your workplace, or businesses that you frequent, or parents of kids that your kids play sports with or have activities with or go to school with, right? Or people at your gym. These are people you see all the time, you're really friendly with. You wouldn't consider them best friends, but you could easily talk to them. And there are going to be a lot of people in that ring, maybe 100, 200, 300, depending on the person, right? I mean, you can include people you see on social media all the time, right? So this can be a big area of your list. And the interesting thing is, as we teach prospecting, this entire list you go to with the product because you definitely know their needs. It's easy. Now, you might go to a few of them with the opportunity because some of them are open to opportunities or have tried something before or have talked to you about something before. And that's what we teach. We get the connector. But there's also a portion of this list that operates the same way, right? People that go to your gym, for example. People that you hear talk that you know, but don't know super well, but know them pretty well, right? You hear them talking about weight. You hear them talking about eating well. You hear them talking about all kinds of stuff. It's like this, door open, just open the door, and you just walk in and say, hey, I found this cool thing. And people are like, what is it? Tell me. And they say, hey, check this out. Information. Boom. Pretty simple. And so that's that first real layer. Now this ring starts to get really big, right? So this ring, the second ring out from the bullseye, these are people you spent time around at some point, but rarely see or talk to now. But you could, right? I mean, so if you think about your list, it's anyone you know or anyone that knows you, right? So I'll give you an example that relates to this list. I was talking about my story earlier. So when I first made that list, I started sequentially calling people, and I called everybody, right? So I called this woman that I met one time. I met her 5 years prior to this conversation, one time. Called her, identified how I'd met her, so she knew I was a real person. Asked her if she was open to taking a look at a way to diversify her income and make extra money. She said yes. That organization ended up doing over $150,000 in volume in the next several months because of that one call to someone out here. I could have easily said, she doesn't know me. She doesn't really know me. But what did I have to lose? Right? I knew who she was. I couldn't remember her face because I'd never really seen her. Right? But I had her number and her name because there was one contact. Powerful story, powerful lesson. So this list, they could be places, people you went to school with, any school, right? Any school. Places you lived in your life, any place you ever worked in your life, right? Any organization you belong to anywhere in your life where you had some connection. That you will find there's a lot of people in that ring. Right? And then the last ring, the fourth layer out, is anybody you have a connection to. Anyone. So this could be anyone from your high school yearbook, which, by the way, I called my high school yearbook. I called my grade, right, years ago. Sponsored quite a few people out of it. I mean, it's just so easy. It's just so easy, especially today. Especially today. So it could be from high school, people you went to college with, people who are, and these aren't people you know, they went to your same school, right? People that are in your same vocation, right? If you're a massage therapist or you're an accountant, or it doesn't matter, right? Because you have something that works for you. And so there are so many ways, right, to be connected to people. And so this exercise, if you do it right, you'll end up with 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 people on your list. You will go an entire year, right? If you called 3 people a day, you only do 1,000 people in a year, right? If you do that, just that, because you make success inevitable by doing a certain number of people a day, you can't help it. You can't help but build a business. You just can't help it, especially with as simple as it is, the tools that we have, the system and structure that we can bring people into, and how good it is, what we have to offer. So here's how you go about making this list, okay? What you do is first you create a memory jogger. And on the memory jogger, it's everywhere you ever lived, everywhere you ever worked, every school you ever went to, every organization you ever been a part of, every church you ever went to, every club you were ever involved in, every sport you ever played, every association you've ever been in, and every gym you ever went to. There's probably some other stuff that I'm not thinking about, right? And then go to your phone, How many contacts are in your phone? Then go to your Facebook page. How many Facebook friends do you have? And then go to your LinkedIn if you have one. How many connections do you have on LinkedIn? So I probably just opened the door for anywhere from 300 to 3,000 contacts, depending on you, right? So next thing is you get a vocations directory, or it could be a phone book. Some of you that are younger are like, phone book? What's a phone book? Yeah, it's this thing, right, that has phone numbers in it that's made out of paper. And so what you do, right, is you look at the vocations. So Yellow Pages is ideal, and you can get an online Yellow Pages directory. But it's as simple as you go through the vocations and starting at A, right? So you've got all these memory joggers, then you go through the vocations. Who do I know in every piece of A? Who is an accountant? Who works for an accountant? Who has an accountant? Or who do I know that is in automobiles? Who do I know in any element? Works on them, sells them, services them, right? I mean, there's just so many possibilities. Leases them, rents them, go then the airlines. Who do I know that's in the airlines, right? You go through the vocations from A to Z, you'll never run out of people, especially with the process that we teach. And so I just gave you gold. I just dropped gold in your lap with this exercise because it works. And just remember, everybody on that list, right? Everybody on that list has needs. Doesn't mean they're ready to act, but they have needs. You are doing them a favor. All right, so have fun building your list. It's part of building your future. See you on the next video.